Were you aware that Pooh Shiesty robbed a green room with an armed weapon? 2 hours later, McLaren flaunted it on Instagram before taking off in a private plane to avoid the federal authorities.
The barrage of sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Island.
Despite facing harsh penalties for the heist he committed, Shy received flack for it, and his best buddy, who is 30 years old, had to take to Instagram to defend him. However, with the assistance of his attorneys, he was able to negotiate a bargain that would see him released in 2025.
My mama, if you see the paperwork, my mama, I do whatever y'all tell me to do. Cause my eyebrow, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and if Shiesty snitch. Go home, take one to the. And I'm all right.
Academics describe his current incarceration predicament and how it's not usual for someone who committed those felonies, but rappers were still making fun of him for snitching.
Salute to Pooh Shiesty, who looked like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the haircut all right, you know what I mean?
They be playing Fortnite Mobile.
In jail? Oh, he got the Timbs on. They look fresh as well. Yo, this so chilling in prison. He got 2 watches. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 watches, not even 1.
However, to comprehend his formal release date, it is crucial to read about the most recent developments in his case, as scholars tweeted today. In the original crime records, Pooh Shy is at a halfway house and will return shortly. As they wait for the seller to arrive, Shy and his friend are making up a deal for expensive sneakers and drugs. Before the seller arrived, Shy and his boy planned to steal the products from these 2 men, and they gave Shy the sneakers. While making a legitimate check on the expensive sneakers to make sure they weren't being stolen, Shy was negotiating their price. Could this happen if, instead, the sellers agreed to reduce the price, and after a heated argument, Shy is seen taking a gun from his waistband and aiming it at the 2 sellers. They both flee, attempting to duck behind their car, but they are too late, and Shy hits them both, once in the hip and once in the backside, as he tends to the 2 sellers. One significant problem in the robbery was the McLaren's butterfly doors, but Shy's friend was responsible for loading the sneakers and drugs into the trunk. As he does so, Shy checks to make sure the sellers aren't attempting to snatch anything before hurriedly jumping into the driver's seat. When Pooh Shiesty lifts the door to enter his Louis Vuitton bag, it falls out of the door onto the parking lot. Unaware that Pooh Shiesty drove off in the McLaren, this was a big deal for Pooh Shiesty because, in addition to the fact that it contained over $40,000, it would later be used as evidence to arrest him. In addition, it's as if he didn't even carry out the robbery. He lost the same amount of money for the sneakers and drugs, if not more, and he was found guilty of several felonies in the act of escaping the scene. Shy's plan was to go to the nearest airport in Miami, where he boarded a private plane and left Florida, but the feds soon caught up with him a few days later.
The town of Bay Harbor Island says you're wanted with it. He's also charged with armed robbery, battery in their affidavit, saying the 2 left the state in a private.
After being arrested and processed at the local jail, Shy posted a $30,000 bond to be released, but 2 months later, Shy was jailed once more pending trial.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest warrant. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you. You have 2 attorneys here, or is it? I'm sorry, 2 attorneys in the state. Go ahead. You want to announce again?
Brad Cohen and Sam Zegny for the defendant.
Right. Have you had a chance to?
Yes, Judge, we have.
When academics announced that the Memphis rapper would receive an official sentence of 63 months in prison instead of 8 years, no one could believe it was so short. This was because he pled guilty in his case, which resulted in a very short sentence for the type of crime he committed.
And I think he's coming home like next year, maybe the year after. However, it looked like he's, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight. And I do think when he comes back out, granted, as long as it's not like too far from now, If he comes back in a year, he's good. I still think even with it.
Shy has been doing crimes like this his entire life. The only difference is that he is now in the spotlight due to his music career. However, many people think that this is nothing new for him and that he was attempting to create a picture to promote his rap career by committing a crime.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pooh Shiesty was probably the biggest artist that he signed in recent memory. But Pooh Shiesty had a history of crimes before he ever signed to Gucci. It ain't like, you know, he was like a school and Gucci suddenly put him in a bad direction. No, he was already doing it. Gucci wasn't around when he was doing all the crazy that they got him locked up for. It just is what it is.
Pooh Shiesty's in prison right now for somebody in the ass with a while sitting inside of a McLaren.
Yeah.
Some Grand Theft Auto shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's who he was before that. So it's like, that ain't a surprise. And Gucci ain't gonna tell you like, he can't just change who you are as a person. So it's like, you know, but people come up with the conspiracy theories and the life insurance, whatever.
He signed a plea deal, but he also made a proffer arrangement with the federal government, which was the primary cause for his reduced sentence. Shy used a proffer, which is when a criminal provides the federal government with specific information about the offense for which immunity or a reduced sentence is granted, to lower his maximum sentence from life in prison to just 63 months. However, as word spread about his snitching, other rappers began to call him out. Since he committed an armed robbery directly next to a police station, the police station's cameras captured the video footage of the crime. It sounds like he might have snitched, but all he did was tell the entire story of how the crime happened, which gives the judge and prosecutors an easy case and makes the trial as simple as possible. This goes a long way in reducing a sentence that made him cautiously admit the mistakes he made throughout the crime was heard in the area, and it took a few minutes for multiple police cars to pull up to the parking lot. Since law enforcement knew the precise location of the robbery, it didn't take long for them to review the footage. The police arrived at the scene so quickly that they discovered the Louis Vuitton bag that Shy had left on the ground, giving Shy no time to retrieve it. This would turn out to be a crucial piece of evidence in the case. At first, the feds didn't know who committed the crime, but tips soon came in. Following a public report that a rapper was spotted on Instagram with the green McLaren, the feds promptly investigated the tips and discovered that Shy had posted pictures of himself flaunting the car on the day of the robbery. However, they were unable to confirm that Shy was their suspect, so they searched Shy's Instagram for more. They found numerous images of him flaunting money, so they swiftly downloaded them. The feds then zoomed in on the images to see because the green McLaren and the serial numbers of the money from the crime scene matched Shy, they were able to take him in. What's even more bizarre is that his team continued to use the green McLaren for his music video Going Mia, but rappers continued to call him a snitch, which led to him receiving a negative reputation in the game, but it prompted King Shy to make a powerful statement from prison criticizing any operators who were treating him disrespectfully. The speech shows King Shy typing in from the center of the prison. "I have millions in double digits, and I have not changed. Tell Google to adjust my net worth, so we can confirm that I am currently locked up and not messed up. I was 21 years old when I had 8 figures. Jay's is insensitive to my financial situation. Please stop teasing me before I purchase one of you. You are nothing at all. Think twice a day on Sundays. From Tokyo to Tennessee, I'm traveling on the same things. I'm still the king of Memphis, regardless of whether I'm in jail or not. Jungle Slick is essentially the same man, but a little stronger. Speaking of Baby Larry, how did you allow a man in the feds to outdo you? You need your hands in the game before you do anything with me for my supporters and loved ones who hold me down every day. Be sure to keep it sturdy. It's up and stuck like a treehouse, and I'm touching down. I have a chip on my shoulder, and I'm going 100% on you guys." He was standing tall on the inside, but we saw him share this message before he was first arrested. I promise it doesn't go unnoticed, and I have something special for all of you.
Really when I got signed, but I'm gonna tell you before I got signed, like breaking news. The verse on breaking news made everybody go crazy. Folks started saying I'm their favorite rapper already, so I'm gonna stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just made me go harder.
So the success kind of gave you the confidence to really keep it up?
Yeah, they rocking me for sure.
Man.
This is my first verse.